For all you seventh grade teachers out there who teach ELA, who are concerned about their kids, who don't know exactly what's wrong and want to help the kids but aren't sure where to start, this is for you. First of all, a large number of your students have literacy trauma. Sometime in their past, something happened that harmed them from wanting to reach for books, to reach for reading, to reach for engaging in words and text. Something happened. Something major happened, something minor happened, but probably something happened. Now, I'm not saying that you're responsible for the child in front of you in their past, but I'm saying something happened and the child needs to be released of that trauma. So whenever someone trips you, it sucks to be tripped. It was an accident, let's say. Someone trips you and you fall. Now, yeah, it sucked. It was terrible you got tripped. But if they don't reach down and pick you up, it's much, much worse. And instead of focusing on the trip, now you're focused on them. Am I right? However, if the person who tripped you reaches down, picks you up, apologizes, brushes you off, and says all of the right words with all of the right temperament of care that you needed, then that trip will heal pretty quickly. If you got tripped and they didn't help you up and it seemed intentional, who knows if it's intentional? Your mind starts to play tricks on you. That's what happened to literacy in our kids. Stuff like that. Now, I can't tell you every single story. We're talking about millions and millions of kids, but I am telling you that's the commonality. I don't believe that I have not met a single kid that actually is struggling with reading. They're struggling with their relationship with reading, not actual reading. All of the information, all of the words, all the letters, all the sentences, everything that's ever occurred to that child is inside of their head. All of them. It's all here. So they watch TV, they play games, they go to the store. All of those things, all of those words are in here. There's a veil in between where they don't quite believe that those things are in there. So there's like this veil in between, and your job is to help them lift that veil. Well, the first step in lifting the veil is helping them heal that trauma. So I highly recommend asking people about to finish the sentence, books are. I had a 9-year-old cry his head off rather than answer the question. That was his answer. What does that mean? That means books are so painful to him that it made him cry. There wasn't a book near him. I just said it. So imagine what he's actually feeling. What is he actually going through? He started to cry, actually cry. And then I talked to him about it and I said, I'm so sorry about what happened. Because that's what you have to do. You have to, if you get lucky, they'll tell you the story. And you say, oh my God, that must have been so hard. It must have been so hard when I tripped you on accident. Let me help you out. Is there anything else you want to talk about that? Let it out. Let it out of them. Let them hear each other having similar stories. You're not mentioning teachers' names or parents' names. You're just talking about incidents that have harmed books into a way a child doesn't want to reach for them. You also have to tell them they have a supercomputer. You have to tell them everything's inside their head. You have to believe everything you've ever experienced is in your head and everything they've ever experienced is in theirs. And there's nothing actually wrong with them except they have literacy trauma. That's it. Something happened that traumatically affected how they reach for reading. All the reading's in there. So you ask them, hey, did anything happen? Can you tell me more? What books are? What are books are to you, right? Let them talk. And then you say, as if you have all of the power in the world to say, I'm so sorry that happened. That must have been hard. And then you say, do you want to try it again? Because I just learned something. Now, you have to say that you just learned something and you're learning something and you're trying something out. Not that you're an expert. I'm not an expert and I've been doing this for a long time. You're saying, I want to try this out. I heard from someone that if we think about ourselves when we're reading and we pick vocabulary, we pick a book that's in our vocabulary range, that we start to read and things start to happen to our brains and they get sparked up and magical, and all the things that we know start to come through that veil. You can tell them about the veil. Tell them the veil is between their conscious and their unconscious, and they deserve to access books. Everyone deserves that. So if they want to try it, it would help you help another kid. You got to add that too, because some of the kids will do that for you when they wouldn't have done it for themselves. So try it. Now, if they don't seem to care about that, you can say, maybe you'll be first in line. I don't know. Maybe I'll give you a high five. I don't know. A++ on your paper. I don't know. I don't know what your reward system is, but what you're trying to do is get them to try something that they do not like. So whatever that reward looks like, eat lunch with you. I don't know. A Twinkie. I don't know. But once they get over the hump of hating reading, not liking reading, not reaching for reading, and then reading a book in their perceived vocabulary range, the one they think they're in, and then connecting to those words, thinking about themselves, everything about themselves. Once that starts to happen, they begin to get clarity on who they are. You're not telling them who they are. Their parents aren't telling them who they are. They are literally finding themselves through the words, because the words are going this way. And I didn't mention this, but teachers typically teach that way. So what you need is help them go this way. So you have to go this way. Like even what I'm talking about right now, you have to go, ooh, how does that apply to me? How do I do this differently? How can I look at this differently? How can I help more kids? This way. Not, oh, the first grade teacher didn't do their job. No, that doesn't matter. You're here with the kids. They're 12. They need your help. Help them go this way. So once you've asked them what happened before, once you confirm with them how difficult that must have been, and then you ask them if they want to try it differently, then you try introducing a new book in a new way with choice. The choice thing, what's so important is, you can get away with not having them choose and still teach them to think this way, but it makes it easier, right? Makes it a lot easier. How do you want, if you hated tomatoes because you had a terrible experience with tomatoes, if you got to choose how to try the tomatoes the next time, where, when, how, temperature, etc., it would make it easier, right? So you are trying to make it easy, so then it starts to happen and their brain explodes. That is the goal, to help them get to the point where they're making the connections from the words on their own. So there's a big distance and you're trying to shrink that distance. And it may not happen in 1 second, and it might happen in 1 second. Every single kid is different. Every single one of them has a different experience. Every single one of them. And honestly, the hardest kids are the ones who are like, I know how to do this. I can do this. I can do this. I already do that. If they talk like that, that is discomfort. And you can hear it. Because when they actually read the way that I'm suggesting, which is introspectively, they go, oh, yeah. I do really like that. Do you want to talk about it a little bit? I love it. My 3rd grade teacher taught me that. Then you can just celebrate because their 3rd grade teacher taught them that. That would be so cool. So there's a lot to this. I have so much more to say. And it's just not linear. It's not in a row. But if you look at it like you're doing triage and they already hate books, they have their reasons. There's stuff you hate. There's a reason. It was a location, an experience with an emotion. Those 3 things, but they can also be overcome. It's a relationship, and you can help them overcome it.